are watching West Hartford Community Television.
You're watching West Hartford Community Television.
You're watching West Hartford Community Television.
For the community, by the community.
Hello, this is Talk of the Town with Mayor Sherry Cantor. It is so nice to welcome you to our inaugural episode of Talk of the Town. I want to first start by thanking WHC-TV for the incredible job they do educating our public, enriching our public, and informing our public. This is a hard job. The staff works hard. We have a lot of volunteers, and I just want to thank them for all that they do to make West Hartford a better community. I will be bringing on guests that hopefully are of interest to you and subjects that are of interest to you to inform you and to let you know what's going on. I welcome your suggestions for topics, so you can email me or call the mayor's office, mayor@westhartfordct.gov, right? westhartfordct.gov. I'm honored to be mayor of my hometown. My goal is to be accessible and open and to inform you of issues going on. You may not always agree with my opinion, but I will do my best to hear you, to listen, and to do what is best for the town of West Hartford. I suggest I have actually office hours that are every month, and I would suggest that you call ahead to make an appointment if you would like to talk about something. I also have walk-in, but you may have to wait. So, but I hope that is a way that I can connect with you. And if you have any other suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. One of the challenges today is to provide and engage with our public personally. Social media serves a great purpose. We inform people, we can let people know, lots of people know what's going on, but sometimes conversations go on with incorrect information. And I would just appreciate if you have questions to ask me directly, ask the town manager for clarification on something, rather than something being spread that may not be accurate or true. It's too easy to let bad information get spread around in a sort of a viral way. So I would appreciate, I think that will be beneficial to our community. We have a long history of good governance, a responsible town management, and again, I think we will do the best to provide you with a forum, a discussion, and answers to your question. The first show is with our town manager, Ron Van Winkle. You've been town manager since 2008,
That's correct. Yes.
And been with the town for decades.
For almost 30 years, yes.
Decades.
Absolutely.
So we have a council manager form of government, and the manager is sort of the CEO of the town.
Yep.
And the council, I'm president of the council, technically, right?
Mayor.
And the mayor, right?
Yep.
And as elected body, we are the bridge between the public and the management of the town. You bring a wealth of experience in economic development, and you were director of community services for many years before you became town manager. And we had some really good news a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
right?
we did.
We were ranked number 15 in Money Magazine. So
Yep,
you want to
that's one of the best places to live. You know, there are over 800 communities they evaluated, and of those 800 communities, they ranked them, and West Hartford was number 15 in the nation, which is extraordinary. To be number 100 would be exciting. Last time they ranked us, we were number 45. So we've moved up to number 15. We don't need an outside source to tell us that this is a great town. We know this is a great town. And they go through a whole lot of statistics to evaluate each community. And they come to the community and see what it's like. And as I said the other night, you know, statistics doesn't tell the story of West Hartford. It's about this incredible community that we live in, about the people that are here, about the people who work on their own to make this a better community. And so that's what's special about West Hartford. And being ranked high is not surprising to us. We've been ranked by other organizations as one of the best in many different categories. And our public schools are ranked by Newsweek as among the best in the nation.
Right.
So we are in a very good place right now.
We are. And this is decades of commitment to our priorities, which are really education, public safety, and the quality of life of our residents, right? I mean,
Yes.
we just really are focused and have invested in our public, has continued to invest in the public schools. I grew up in town. And
did too.
And you did too,
Yep.
right? And I see a lot of people that have either left for a little while and come back or decided to raise their families here, and that's wonderful. But we also hear the anecdotal stories of people. I have 2 new neighbors, one from California actually, and one from Boston with 3 young children. And they're so excited to be in a community that has such has a great quality of life, easily accessible, actually compared to Boston, very affordable. And the schools, the priority in the arts, the commitment that we've made to educating the whole student. And it's a diverse student body, which is such a gift to equip students to be prepared for our diverse world.
Yep. I've often said that in West Hartford, you don't buy a house, you buy a community.
Right.
You know, you moved to this town because of the public sidewalks, the public schools, our downtown that's so popular, the safety that's in the community. Drive down the street in the spring and see all the flowers and all the trees that flower and the beauty of the community. That's really what people buy when they move to West Hartford, and they come from all over. And we continue to see in West Hartford young families moving in. They come here first, I think, because of our schools for their children. And as somebody retires and moves out, we often see a young family taking their place. Across the state, we're seeing towns close schools. And we have not had a decline in our school population because people keep coming here to be able to live in West Hartford and be able to have their children educated here.
That's right. Yeah, and that's really, really exciting. But we have challenges too.
Yes, we do.
Right?
Yes.
So every week, actually every day, I think, since I've been mayor for 3 months, 4 months. There's something new, something, we learn, and a different angle to look at things. We've been dealing a little bit with the vibrancy in the center and how to sort of move into the next 20 years of different lifestyles, of people maybe not wanting to buy the house right away, waiting a little while to settle down. Millennials and also empty nesters that may want a little more flexibility in their lifestyle.
You know, as you know, I'm an economist, so I study all these trends, have for a long time, and we're going through a unique pattern right now. In the last few years and in the coming year, we'll have built 1,000 new homes in West Hartford. We haven't built 1,000 new homes in the decade.
Right.
So this is extraordinary, and most of those new homes are now apartments, and the markets have moved from condominiums to apartments, and everybody thinks about the millennials, and they certainly are making that decision. They want to live in an apartment before they make the decision on a home. But we're also seeing the same thing with empty nesters who are selling that 4-bedroom house, and you might think they want a condominium. Well, a lot of them are opting for apartments. And the apartments we're seeing built are renting up incredibly fast, unusually fast. When you do a model about how you're going to invest, you assume a certain number of sales every month, and all of our apartments are outperforming those models. West Hartford Center saw 2 projects with new apartments in it, and they rented immediately and quickly. And so it is desirable and somewhat of a goal for us to try to create more housing in the center of our community, because people quite clearly want to live near West Hartford Center and be able to walk out their door and enjoy the center.
Right, but we're also seeing it in Bishop's Corner.
Yep.
We're also seeing that around New Park.
Yep.
I mean, there's been a lot of excitement and interest
Absolutely.
in building New Park. And from a millennial standpoint and also from a senior standpoint, to be able to take a mass transit, a bus, maybe, hopefully, a train, from that New Park area is very, very desirable.
Absolutely.
You can walk to Hartford Baking Company and get a cup of coffee. You can, walk to Cumberland Farms and get a gallon of milk. So there's a lot of interest in that area as well. And that area has been has the room for a little bit more development and a little bit more creative thinking. So do you want to talk about some of the TOD, the transit-oriented development ideas that the town is doing? And
well, on New Park Avenue, we now have a busway station, and if you go there, you will find the parking lot is full.
Right.
So many people are using the busway to get into Hartford. We were all speculating, will it be successful? Well, for West Hartford, obviously, a lot of people are getting on the bus and taking it in. And there's two stations in West Hartford where you can, and both of those are very popular. And
right, and they added more parking several months ago.
They added more parking several months ago to meet that demand. Right. We don't necessarily want to build fields of parking.
Right.
The council last year changed some of the zoning down on New Park. New Park Avenue historically was an industrial area of the town. It changed over into more commercial kinds of things, the Home Depots and BJ's that we see down there. But the council's goal was to try to create a neighborhood there. And so last year we changed the zoning to allow residential within that district. And this coming month we'll see a groundbreaking for the first apartment building right next to the busway stop on New Britain Avenue.
Right.
So
616 New Park, right?
616 New Park. Yeah. And so there's the first step on New Park Avenue, and we hope to see more. And we, in fact, have people, once they saw that investment, look around and see whether there's an opportunity for them to invest also in housing along New Park to create another strong neighborhood in West Hartford.
And again, encouraging mixed use, potentially commercial on the first floor, residential above.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
That is
and that's the concept down there, is that it's a mixed use, first floor retail above. And we have a plan we're working on for New Park Avenue. Our town planner, working with the neighborhood and the general public, are trying to develop some goals and some plans for how we push this along on New Park to entice more investment into that area that is going to bring new homeowners, new apartment renters, those sorts of things down there.
And the whole multimodal kind of transportation as well, where you can get on your bike and ride your bike, and making that more bicycle friendly, bigger, aisles for.
Yep, on New Park we're looking at, trying to change all those things. We have a plan to increase biking areas. You may have seen around town where we have put edge lines on. You got a double yellow line in the middle, and we're putting white lines on the outside. That's to channel the car into the main lane and allow others, bicycles, to be able to ride on those roads without fear of someone being hit. And everybody's being civil, but it just sort of helps everybody understand where they belong. So we're seeing that, and we'll see that grow around West Hartford in the coming years. That will try to create more opportunities for bicycling. Some say to me, well, I never see bicycles on the street. And it's sort of this chicken and egg thing. If it's dangerous to ride on Troutbrook Drive, which it would be, that we need to create opportunities for those bicyclists to be able to bike to work in Bloomfield or in Hartford.
And we adopted as a council the complete street policy to look at all users of not just West Hartford was designed as I think the greater Hartford area was designed very much around vehicle traffic.
Yes.
And we as West Hartford were ahead of the curve in at least the walkability and all the sidewalks that we invested in over many
245 miles of sidewalks. This is a great community to walk in.
Right, and now it's adding that other element of bicycle, and making sure also that we have accommodations for seniors that may take a little longer to cross the street, or strollers
and it's not so
looking at
easy,
it.
you know,
No,
all the
it's
things
not.
we think about.
Especially
you know.
because we are so developed. If you were designing a community from scratch now, it would be very, very different.
And we used to have traffic lights. When you push the button, it was called, you got to cross, but the traffic was still moving.
Right.
We now stop all the traffic in most instances so that if you're with a child or a child is crossing, that they can cross safely. We also worry about mass transit, as we talked about. That's part of that complete streets. The bicycles, the pedestrians, the cars, of course. Most vehicles on the street are automobiles, and try to make sure everyone's safe out there. It's working really well. I mean, we don't have a pedestrian accident. There's a rare thing. Yes, I know. I was going to pause when I said that. We don't have bicycle accidents with automobiles. Everybody is trying to be civil with each other. The one thing we wrestle with all the time is speeding.
Yes. We get complaints. It's the biggest complaint we get.
It's the biggest
right?
complaint we get.
Everywhere.
And we are all guilty of this. You know, you roll your windows up, your air conditioning's on, maybe there's some music on your car, and you drive the speed you feel is right.
Well, the cars are heavy.
The cars are heavy.
Bigger,
Yep.
generally,
And
right?
so it
they
feels
ride,
okay.
right.
And so, but you'll often driving down a street where the speed limit could be 25 miles an hour and you could be doing 40. As good as all of our residents are, we need to pay more attention to that, because that is the complaint. And people do worry that, you know, that their children won't be safe, or they won't be safe if people are speeding at those. And so we run a lot of enforcement on that, but we have 210 miles of streets. We can't put a cop on every corner. But I would say to the public, slow down for us. Slow down in your neighborhood, slow down in your neighbor's neighborhood. You'll still get there. It'll maybe take you an extra minute, but everyone will be safe in that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we also hear some complaints about traffic, and you know, when there was a study not initiated by the town, but by the state, to look at North Main Street, and so we've had some discussions on traffic, and traffic is an issue in many locations.
Traffic
But
is
with
a significant issue. We have a lot of traffic because we are now a center for activity, as well as jobs, but people who certainly come out to dine or just to shop or whatever, people come to West Hartford, and so we see a lot of traffic. We are constantly making adjustments to our streets to make those streets safer. You'll see those left turn lanes that we're putting in at lights. At Sedgwick and Main Street, we put in left turn lanes, and that virtually eliminated accidents, which we had lots of, where people made left turns trying to chance it, and now they have an arrow and they have a nice safe left turn.
Yeah, that was a great addition. And we have some major changes coming to the 84 interchange on Park Road.
On Park Road, we have a traffic congestion problem at the 5 o'clock hour, where people are coming from MetLife or something down Trout Brook and trying to get on the highway. And so we're making changes using federal and state dollars to move the ramps, to create longer lines, to create double turn onto the highway lanes. That will help us reduce that congestion in those hours.
Right, and that's a federal grant.
That's a federal
We had
grant.
actually brought Senator Murphy in to take a look
Yes.
at it. The
Yep.
previous Mayor Slifka and I accompanied the senator, and he went back to Washington and said these are safety issues, and
Yep, he
we
was
need
able
some
to get
money,
us
so we did.
those dollars, and the millions of dollars we're talking about
Thank
for that reinvestment. You know, and also just for the future, you know, I-84 through Hartford, they're talking about changing that whole highway, taking it off of the viaduct up in the air, putting it on the ground, taking local roads over. So it's something to pay attention to. It's a little bit in our future, but when that work comes, it's going to be a little more congested on I-84, and we got to remember that we're going to see people come off the highway to get where they need to get. So we may have some years in the 2020s where we see traffic a little higher than we do today. And so everything we do, we need to think about the impacts of those kinds of changes on our future.
That's right. And that's a good segue, actually, to talk about, we're going to have to be in discussions with what's going on in Hartford when that happens and how it impacts West Hartford.
Absolutely.
And many things are going on in Hartford that impact West Hartford. And we are all aware, we've all heard the Mayor Luke Bronin and some of the financial challenges that he has facing his community. But it's our capital city, and we border on Hartford, and Hartford's issues are our issues. Crime isn't. There's no wall.
There's no wall. Yeah, thank goodness.
And yes, exactly. And there's a lot of people work in Hartford.
Yep.
A lot of people go to theater in Hartford, or whatever they do. But this is our cultural center. So we actually have been talking to the mayor, and the mayor actually has been meeting with all communities around Hartford to educate why structurally Hartford. There's a lot of reasons why Hartford's in the position they're in now, but structurally going forward, how there are going to be significant challenges because
the great mass of poverty in the greater Hartford area is in the city of Hartford. And that is a significant burden to them. The children in the public schools don't have the same experiences a child maybe in a middle class in the suburbs where there's a vacation, a computer, several and so they work harder to ensure that their children get appropriate education and put more dollars into it than even we do. We have one of the finest education systems in the state and the nation, and that's got a lot to do not only with the quality of our teachers in our schools, but the quality of the experiences that child has outside of the school system. So Hartford's struggling with high costs for their education, significant poverty in their community, and the problems that poverty generates. And so as we talk to the mayor, he is trying to figure out how he can bring the city back to balance, because they're running a significant deficit, and how the suburbs and the city can perhaps work closer together. And we already do a lot with them.
Right.
Fire and police certainly have close relationships that we work back and forth. Our fire department would go into the city if they needed us.
And vice versa. They have some more maybe experience with active fires, and they come here if there's a situation.
So it's a close relationship. There's not two different countries here. This is the same, and it's our capital city. And the city also struggles with the enormous amount of property that is untaxable.
Right. That's a big issue for them.
A big issue.
We were just talking about, we have the Metropolitan District Commission, and they're one of our member towns, and they have the largest MDC facility, and it doesn't look like our MDC facilities. We have beautiful park-like MDC facilities, and theirs is more institutional on the water, front, and it's large, and they can't charge taxes for it, and they can't develop it, and so
there's some significant challenges there that we certainly are listening to them, trying to help the mayor with whatever we can to get his city. It'll take some years.
Yeah, West Hartford has done a lot of work internally ourselves to make sure that we, for example, education, our per pupil spending is very low compared to our ranking. So I've seen various judges, 120 on one list, 125 maybe on another. But because we've done so much work internally to streamline the administration and combine jobs at higher levels. So
unique. West Hartford has been a leader in this. Before we would have 2 facility managers, someone who took care of the facilities on the school side and the town side, and we made that one. We had 2 capital projects managers, 2 IT managers, 2 human services. We hired teachers, we hired police officers. We now have 1. We were the leader in that and combined every service. Every service that can be combined has been combined in West Hartford, and towns still come and go, how did you do that?
Right.
It's not so much magic.
Right. Again, but it took us time.
It took us
working with our unions to bring them.
And a close relationship with our schools. So the superintendent and I have a close working relationship. In other towns, it's not so close.
Well, that was one of the benefits of Blueback. When the co-location happened between the town and the Board of Education, it made things
We're all
much
in the same
easier
building.
to
I can
understand.
Stop in his office in a minute and talk to him about something we're going on. As we move toward budgets this fall, we will have a close relationship talking about budgets, taxes, budgets, costs, and where we're going to be headed. And that's something other towns don't really do. They separate those discussions. We work on those together.
Right, and we have, there was a new court decision that could impact the budget. We don't have much longer in the program. Maybe that's for another program. But we are going to be impacted by being a wealthier community than the cities throughout the state.
There's change coming. It may take some time. There's clearly change coming. So we need to be ready. Everything we do, and the council's really good at this, is to not think about this year, but how things are going to change in the future. And we constantly got to keep our eye on the future, not the present, as we make our decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, that is our goal, to make West Hartford more vibrant, more financially stable, attract people continuously, and make us viable for the next 20, 40, 50 years. That is an important legacy. I know you believe in that. I believe in that, and it's always that forward-thinking attitude. And we always say that we don't do things quickly sometimes, but we do them right.
Yeah, we do them right.
And it takes some time.
It takes some time to make sure you're doing the right thing, make the sensible thing.
Right, and we adjust as we, sometimes we learn, we get kicked on this side or that side, and we adjust our way. But we have a great public, and a very, we had talked about volunteers and equating valuing what the volunteers contribute to this community.
It's enormous.
Millions of dollars.
Yes, absolutely.
And actually, it's invaluable, right? I mean,
West Hartford, special about West Hartford is people identify with their community, they create community. They go to the public libraries, or they go to the Little League games, or all the things that bring us together. In other communities, people go home and close their door and sit down and watch TV maybe, and don't have the relationships that exist in West Hartford with neighbors or people that they don't know at all.
That's right.
We just did a wonderful pop-up dog park. Right. Where we took one of our parks on a morning and allowed people to let their dogs run free. And people who didn't know each other got to know each other. And so it's that kind of thing that makes West Hartford very special.
And we want to continue to build on those kinds of things. So we are going to have there was a Kennedy Park. It will be a Kennedy
pop-up
Park
dog
again,
parks around the town.
And maybe a park that you have not been to, you can go with your dog. And
absolutely.
Again, meet somebody new. Tonight we have, this will air at some other time probably, but Westmore Park will be doing an outdoor
Feast on the farm.
Feast on the farm.
No rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Hopefully not. But we're finishing now with our inaugural Talk of the Town with the Mayor, Sherry Cantor, our Town Manager, Ron Van Winkle. We're so lucky to have your talents, your expertise, and your manner. You're so approachable and professional, and everywhere I go, people say you're the best town manager in the state of Connecticut, maybe in the country.
And my wife tells you that all the time.
True. So, but we so appreciate all that you do, and I hope that you are watching. I hope that you continue to watch. My next show will have the police chief and the 2 assistant police chiefs to talk about some issues in policing. And please email me if you have any ideas on subjects that you would like to hear about. Thank you so much.